Bhaktirvavati Nashtihi Yam Pravrachantamanupetamaketa Krityam Dvaipayana Virahakatara Juhava Putreti Tanmayatayo Taravo Vinidus Tam Sarvabhuta Hridayam Munimanatosmi. So very today Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 3, Chapter 2, Remembrance of Lord Krishna. And today we read verse number 20. Tatha evacha anye naraloka viraha ya ahave Krishna mukha aravindam netraihi ibantaha nayana abhiramam partha astraputa padam apo asya tathaiva chanye naralokaviram tathaiva chanye naralokaviram ya ahave Krishna mukharavindam ya ahave Krishna mukharavindam netrai pibanto nayanaviramam netrai pibanto nayanaviramam parthastra-putah padama-purasya parthastra-putah padama-purasya tathaiva chanye naralokaviram ya ahave Krishna mukharavindam parthastra-putah padama-purasya
tathaiva chanye naralokavira ahave Krishna mukharavindam netre pibanto nayanabhiramam parthastra-putah padama-purasya tathaiva chanye naralokavira ahave Krishna mukharavindam netrei pibanto nayanabhiramam parthastra-putah padama-purasya
Tathaiva chanye naralokavira ahave Krishna mukharavindam netrai pibanto nayanaviramam parthastra-putah padama-purasya
tathaiva chanye naralokavira
tathaiva chanye naralokavira
pibanto nayana viramam.
पार्थास्त्रपूता पदमापुरस्य
Pathastra padamapurasya.
Tatha
Tatha.
as also. Evacha. And certainly. Anye. Others. Naraloka. Human society. Viraha. Fighters. Ye. Those. Ahave. On the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Krishna. Lord Krishna's. Mukharavindam. Lotus-like face. Netraihi. With the eyes. Pibantaha. While seeing. Nayanabhiramam. Very pleasing to the eyes. Partha. Arjuna. Astraputaha. Purified by arrows. Padam. Abode. Apo. Achieved. Asya. By him. Translation. Certainly others who were fighters on the battlefield of Kurukshetra were purified by the onslaught of Arjuna's arrows, and while seeing the lotus-like face of Krishna, so pleasing to the eyes, they achieved the abode of the Lord. Purport by His Divine Grace, Bhakti Vijnana Goswami, Prabhupada. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, appears in this world for two missionary purposes: to deliver the faithful and to annihilate the miscreants. But because the Lord is absolute, His two different kinds of actions, although apparently different, are ultimately one and the same. His annihilation of persons like Shishupala is as auspicious as his actions for the protection of the faithful. All the warriors who fought against Arjuna, but who were able to see the lotus-like face of the Lord on the battlefront, achieved the abode of the Lord, exactly as the devotees of the Lord do. The words pleasing to the eyes of the seer are very significant. When the warriors from the other side of the battlefield saw Lord Krishna at the front, they appreciated his beauty, and their dormant instinct of love of God was awakened. Shishupal saw the Lord also, but he saw him as his enemy, and his love was not awakened. Therefore Shishupala achieved oneness with the Lord by merging into the impersonal glare of his body, called the Brahmajyoti. Others who were in the marginal position, being neither friends nor enemies, but slightly in love of Godhead, by appreciating the beauty of his face, were at once promoted to the spiritual planets, Vaikunthas. The Lord's personal abode is called Goloka Vrindavana, and the abodes where his plenary expansions reside are called Vaikunthas, where the Lord is present as Narayana. Love of Godhead is dormant in every living entity, and the entire process of devotional service unto the Lord is meant for awakening this dormant internal love of Godhead. But there are degrees of such transcendental awakening. Those whose love of God is awakened to the fullest extent go back to Goloka Vrindavana planet in the spiritual sky, whereas persons who have just awakened to love of Godhead by accident or association are transferred to the Vaikuntha planets. Essentially, there is no material difference between Goloka and Vaikuntha, but In the Vaikunthas, the Lord is served in unlimited opulence, whereas in Galoka the Lord is served in natural affection. This love of God is awakened by the association of pure devotees of the Lord. Here the word partastra putaha is significant. Those who saw the beautiful face of the Lord on the battlefield of Kurukshetra were purified first by Arjuna when he made his onslaught of with arrows. The Lord appeared for the mission of diminishing the burden of the world, and Arjuna was assisting the Lord by fighting on his behalf. Arjuna personally declined to fight, and the whole instruction of the Bhagavad Gita was given to Arjuna to engage him in the fight. As a pure devotee of the Lord, Arjuna agreed to fight in preference of his own decision, and thus Arjuna fought to assist the Lord in his mission of diminishing the burden of the world. All the activities of a pure devotee are executed on behalf of the Lord, because a pure devotee of the Lord has nothing to do for his personal interest. Arjuna's killing was as good as killing by Lord himself. As soon as Arjuna shot an arrow at the enemy, that enemy became purified of all material contaminations and became eligible to be transferred to the spiritual sky. Those warriors who appreciated the lotus feet of the Lord and saw his face in front had their dormant love of God awakened, and thus they were transferred at once to Vaikuntha Loka. Not to impersonal state of Brahmajyoti as was Shishupala. Shishupala died without appreciating the Lord, while others died with appreciation of the Lord. Both were transferred to the spiritual sky, but those who awakened to love of God were transferred to the planets of the transcendental sky. Uddhava seemingly lamented that his own position was less than that of the warriors on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, because they had attained Vaikuntha, whereas he remained to lament the disappearance of the Lord. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapuran ki jai, Tathaiva chanye naraloka vira, Ya ahavi Krishna mukhara vindam nitrai pibanto nayana viranam, Parthastra putah. Certainly, others who were fighters on the battlefield of Kurukshetra were purified by the onslaught of Arjuna's arrows, and while seeing the lotus-like face of Krishna, so pleasing to their eyes, they achieved their abode with the Lord. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Padaya Srimati Bhakti Vijnana Goswami Namine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Hare Hare Yantah pravishya mama vachim mama prasuptam sanjivaya tekila shakti darasvadamna anyamscha hasta charana shravana tvagadim pranam namo bhagavate purushaya. So we started talking yesterday about this very important process which is called smarana, because this chapter is called Remembrance of Lord Krishna. And in fact, smarana is the life of bhajan. Bhajan, or worship of Krishna, internal worship of Krishna, is based on our ability to remember Him. When we chant Hare Krishna mantra, we should remember about the Lord with love. Some feeling should be awakened. Whatever little feeling we have, it should be invested into the holy names. Because as Krishna, as it is said in Narada Pancharatra, I believe, Atak Sri Krishna, no, it's Padma Purana verse. Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Niti Mukta Purna Shuddha Vinatvam Namanami No Atak Sri Krishna Navalina Bhavet Grahyam Indriya Savam Mukhehi Jihvadu Svayamavas Purateda. Nama Chintamani Krishna, the holy name of the Lord, is not different from him. It's Purna Shuddha, it's completely pure, it's Nitya Mukta, it's liberated. So it means it's not a part of this world. It's really not a part of this world, even though it may seem like we pronounce this with our vocal cord. At least this is the seeming appearance which is there. But Binatvam, Abhinatvam, Nama Navina, Nama and Nami, Abhina, there's no difference between them. And therefore, the next verse says, Atak Sri Krishna Namalina Bhavet Grahyam Indriya. Therefore, because it's totally transcendental, the name of Krishna is not of this world, it's transcendental, you cannot really get in touch with the name by your gross material senses. The name has to descend upon your senses, and Atak Sri Krishna Namalina Bhavet Grahyam Indriya. This Grahyam Indriya, you cannot catch the name by your Indriya, by your dull senses, but Sevan Mukhe Hi Jihvadu Svayamavas Purateda. It has to manifest itself, Spurati, on your tongue, starting with your tongue. Swayam, on its own. Why and when your senses are sevonmukhe, become inclined to serve the Lord. So what's happening while we're chanting the holy name of the Lord, we may be chanting what Bhakti Vijnana Thakur says, the syllables of the name, which is not the name itself, just material sound. Material sound which is similar to the original name of the Lord. But when our senses become inclined to serve the Lord, when we understand that by chanting the holy name of the Lord, we're serving the Lord, then the real name descends. And what is supposed to happen, this is exactly what happened with Lord Chaitanya when Ishvara Puri gave him this mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. The Lord Chaitanya himself says that the name started dancing on my tongue. And while it's dancing, I'm crying and I'm dancing myself. It's not that I'm dancing. The name is dancing in my senses, and therefore my senses are dancing. I'm not in control. It's called Anubhav. Anubhav means something which is following the Bhav. And the name itself has this potency to awaken this love of God. And when the love of God is awakened, one becomes very joyful, and he is dancing, and he is singing, and he is laughing, and he is crying. He's doing all kinds of strange things. So it doesn't happen with us too often, which is probably good, because it would be quite a sin if everyone would all of a sudden start laughing and crying and dancing. But sometimes it happens when the real name comes. But the idea here is that it only happens when we consciously serve the Lord. It's not that we're doing some ritual, some auspicious ritual. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. No, this is our bhajan. This is expression of our love. Whatever little love we have to put in the name. Then it will become very pleasing. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. He's not different from the name. He's right there. So, therefore, if we do this, then it will become bhajan. And therefore, it is said that the thinking about the Lord is the life of bhajan. When we just mechanically, without any attachment, to chant the holy name of the Lord, it's not bhajan. It's, I don't know what it is. It's some sort of magical ritual. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Yeah, whatever it is. But Smaranam has to be awakened. And we were talking yesterday how Smaranam depends on the purity of the heart. And there's no doubt about it. Our ability to remember about the Lord depends on the purity of the heart. Otherwise, we will remember about anything but the Lord. But the beauty of this process is that it's not entirely dependent on our ability to remember the Lord. It's not entirely. If it was entirely dependent on our ability to remember about the Lord, it would be very bad for us, because our ability is not very significant. What is more important, it also depends on the mercy of the Lord. And the Lord is, by the essence, is very merciful. When we consider the relative strengths of different processes, then there are three considerations. One is the strengths of the performer of this process. Like, for example, if we do yoga, to achieve success in this particular process, the performer of yoga has to have certain qualities, certain adhikar. He has to have certain bhav, the strengths. So the process will be successful depending on the strengths of the performer. The process also has inherent power in the process itself. You know, the process of yoga has certain inherent power. The process of meditation, dhyan, has certain inherent power. The process of bhakti also has certain inherent power. Then there is the third consideration, the bhav, or the strengths of the object of our meditation. So the success depends on these three, relative to these three considerations. The consideration of my own strengths, the consideration of the inherent strengths of the process itself, like chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It's a certain process, but, or remembering the Lord. But then the object of our remembrance also has something to do with it. So we are very weak. And the process which we perform is powerful, but we may perform it in a faulty way. We do perform it in a faulty way. We are not really concentrated very much. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. The mind is distracted. We are not really concentrated. But there is saving grace, the power of the object of our meditation. The object is so powerful that even cursory, very accidental, as Prabhupada says, accidental association with Krishna may change our life completely. That's the most amazing. The object of meditation, and this is exactly the point of this verse, the object of meditation, Krishna himself, is so powerful that even if we have very little to do with him, but still, somehow or other, we come in contact with him, it will burn all our contamination within the heart. It's like fire. If the fire is very small, then it may burn something, but it may not burn something which is big. But if the fire is very big, then no matter how difficult is the object for burning, it will be burned. So in the same way, our heart is contaminated, but because Krishna is so powerful, even if we sometimes little bit remember about him, then so much contamination can be washed. That's the point of this beautiful verse. So yesterday I was talking about the conditions which we have to fulfill to remember about the Lord. We have to surrender, we have to do, all these bad things, all this very bad news. We have to surrender, we have to be pure, we have to do this, we have to do that. So I decided to balance it a little bit by reading this verse, which basically says you don't have to do anything. Just come, every now and then come in contact with Krishna. And try to understand who Krishna is also, because by doing this, you will do it more properly. Prabhupada very beautifully explains here in this verse that even though the love of God is dormant in everyone's heart, it's natural. It's not something completely foreign to us. There are some section of Gaudiya Sampradaya devotees who say that love of Godhead is not there in the heart. But Bhakti Vijnana Thakur, and not only Bhakti Vijnana Thakur, Baladevi Devotion also, they're very emphatic. They say no, there is some dormant propensity to love. Otherwise, how would we see love everywhere? If the love was not there, why the cat loves her little kittens? Or why the dog would love her little puppies? Everyone has some propensity to love. The love is dormant, the love is there. But as Prabhupada says, the degree of awakening this love is different. It's a very beautiful point which Prabhupada says. And he says that in case of Shishupal, even though he came in contact with Krishna, and Vastu Shakti, the inherent potency of Krishna, is mercy. Inherent, the main Shakti, actually the main Shakti of Krishna, his Vastu Shakti, is mercy, is Karuna. It is said that when different Shaktis, and Krishna has all different Shaktis. He is the board of all Shakti, he is Shaktiman. All the different energies are there. But when different energies come in conflict with each other, like sometimes, there are different energies. Krishna has this. He has this energy of anger. His anger is unbelievable. But when the different energies come in conflict with each other, who will win?
Mercy.
Mercy. Because mercy is the main one. If, like it is explained by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in case of Damodar Lila. In Damodar Lila, Krishna became a little stubborn. His mother wanted to bind him to the mortar. And Krishna says, you try it. And it didn't work for a long time. Because Krishna wanted to show his Aishwarya Shakti, see how unlimited I am, and no matter how much he tried, it didn't work. But ultimately, Karuna Shakti says, enough is enough, The mercy comes and reconciles everything. The mercy is the reconciliator, is the factor of reconciliation. When there is some conflict within Krishna, ultimately he says, okay, no problem. So, like for example, in our case, where we have so much mixture, of different tendencies. Some good devotional tendencies are there, but demonic tendencies are also there. So when Krishna will judge us, ultimately he says, okay, no problem. No problem. Hare Krishna. He will not see all these bad qualities. Therefore, later on, Uddhava will say this, Aho biki yamstana kalo kutam, jigamsaya payad apya sadvi. You know, Putana came and she was a sadvi. She was witch, she was a demoness. She was horrible demon. She loved, she was the most horrible among all the demons which were around Kamsa. And around Kamsa there were so many demons. And she was the most horrible. Because she was so cruel, she loved to eat little babies. She loved to see how the babies are suffering and crying. People sometimes become sick, but they're so sick internally in their heart that they love to see sufferings of others. The Putana was the most cruel among everyone. When all the demons heard the news, all the associates of Kamsa heard the news that Krishna was born somewhere else, they became completely furious and they got this idea, we will kill all the newborn babies. Kamsa came and said that this little girl said that he's born somewhere else. And they said, okay, we will kill everyone. So, and then everyone looked at Putana. And she said, okay, I can do it. No problem. I'm ready to do it. So she was so cruel, asadvi. She was completely, no pious credits whatsoever. But because she put some garb of a gopi, and because she took this appearance, Krishna saw such a nice gopi came to me. So nice. Yeah. Let him, she loves me. Let her become my nurse. Let her get him dhatri uchitam. She took the position of dhatri, of that nurse of Krishna in the spiritual world. Krishna didn't look. Krishna took all her impurities. He drank all her impurities. So that's the mercy of Krishna. Krishna he doesn't consider, Therefore we have hope. Otherwise we don't have hope. And it's actually very important to remember this Putana story, because when we come in front of Krishna and Krishna will say, you're this, you're that, we should say, what about Putana? So, it's good to remind him about this. Because there may not be lawyers around us, but we should, Anyway, Krishna, I may be a pretender, but still I tried. I put this, this dhoti and this kantimala look. Therefore, Srila Rupa Goswami says that putting the external signs of the devotee is a part of Shuddha Bhakti sadhana. So it's important to put all these external signs, to put tilak, to put this, to put that, because it actually changes something within us, and it also reminds us and reminds Krishna who we are. Here we are, I don't have any other credit, but I have Kantimala. That's a very serious argument. So, that's what it is. Krishna is merciful. As Prabhupada says, he's very noble. Therefore, he only says, Krishna only takes good. We know that different people, the bad people, when they see somebody, what do they see? Only bad qualities. But the noble people, when they see others, what do they see? They see noble qualities, good qualities. It's actually the purport of the story of Daksha in the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Daksha was looking at Shiva. What did he see? Only bad qualities. Look at this dirty person. He's just living in the crematoriums and he's covered by ashes and he's, but Lord Shiva is so pure. He couldn't see it. So Krishna is the noblest of noble. He will only see good qualities in us, and that's very good news. But even though it all depends on Krishna, mostly depends on Krishna, still Prabhupada gives a very beautiful purport to this verse. He says that the degree of awakening of love still depends on us. He says, in case of Shishupal looked at Krishna, and even though he associated with this Vastu Shakti of Krishna, because he didn't have any appreciation of Krishna, he got liberation, he was purified, but he got impersonal liberation. He merged into this effulgence, which is not bad. I mean, so many people are striving hard, so it's not bad. But in the next verse, this is actually the lamentation of Uddhava. Being humble devotee, he just laments. He says, I am worse than Shishupal. Because Shishupal got liberation and I remain here. What to speak about Shishupal? But you know, all these warriors in Kurukshetra, they got liberation. Prabhupada makes this point at the end of the purport. Everyone got liberation. It's only me who didn't get liberation. Uddhava, being humble devotee, he expresses his lamentation. Everyone got liberation because they died by seeing Krishna. And when I die, I will not see Krishna. That's Uddhava's thinking. So what happens with me, God knows what happens with me. But you know, actually, of course, Uddhava is much higher. But again, coming back to this very important point, the degree of awakening of love is different. So even though the liberation is guaranteed, don't worry. Nehavikrama nashasti pratyavaya navidete svalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahadobaya. Krishna says that even in this dharma, in this path of bhakti, even whatever little distance you will traverse in this path, it will be your eternal credit. Trayate mahatobayat, you will be actually saved, you will be protected from this fear of completely degrading your consciousness. Krishna will protect your consciousness. Krishna says, Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashati. My bhakta will never perish. Declare it boldly. No loss, no diminution on this path. But still, what depends on us? On us depends what we really want. Do we want to become like Shishupal, merged into Brahman? You know, if our aspiration, if our appreciation of Krishna only goes to this degree, then okay, we will get liberation. But then Prabhupada says, those people who had little appreciation of Krishna, when they saw how beautiful he is, it is specifically said there, Krishna Mukharavindam, they saw the lotus face of Krishna, but Shishupal also saw lotus face of Krishna. But here it is, netrai pibantaha. They were drinking this with their eyes. When they saw and appreciated this, Shishupal was looking at Krishna and he saw this beautiful face of Krishna, but he didn't appreciate it. He said, oh. But those people who saw this, and they forgot to fight. They were warriors, they were supposed to fight, but they saw this lotus face of Krishna, and while drinking it, drinking means appreciation. That's why Prabhupada says they had appreciation. They just couldn't take their eyes from Krishna. They were drinking it with their eyes. Nayana Virama. Why? Because it's so pleasing to the eyes. Nayana Virama. So when we chanting the holy name, we should, we should appreciate how beautiful Krishna is. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Therefore, there are so many verses in Srimad Bhagavatam itself which describe the roop of Krishna. Parhapidam Natavaravapu Karnayo Karnikar Vipratvasa Kanakakapisham Vaijayantim Chamala Randram Vino Radharasudayam Purayam Gopa Vrindai Vrindaranyam Swapadaраmanam Pravisha Gita Kiri. Just by the sound of this verse, some little particle of Krishna's beauty is entering within our heart. Because this is what how gopis see Krishna. And of course, these warriors in Kurukshetra, in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, they didn't see Krishna as beautiful as gopis. The point is that we should try consciously to appreciate Krishna. There are 2 points of this verse, the most important points of this verse. One is that Krishna is very merciful. Any touch, he's sparshamani. Sparshamani means whatever little sparsha you have, whatever little touchstone, little touch, you will be transformed. This called very nice example Radha Govinda Maharaj gives. He says, if you take the sparshamani, and if you hit it with the iron rod will turn into gold. You want to hit it, but still, because you're in touch with this sparshamani, it will turn this iron rod into gold. So even if we are with the bad intention, we will be turned into gold, but that's not the point. The point is that if we appreciate, if we cultivate, develop our appreciation of Krishna more and more and more and more, then we can get to Goloka Vrindavan. If we have little appreciation of Krishna, if we don't have any appreciation of Krishna and we chant Hare Krishna, we will get liberation. If we have little appreciation of Krishna, we will go to Vaikuntha, which is not bad. Weather is good there, and and there is no genetically modified products there. Everything is fine. Food is natural. It's good, but that's not the highest. The highest what Lord Chaitanya came to give, Anarpita Charim Chira, Karuna Avatirna Khala, we would miss the chance. Lord Chaitanya came to give us the highest, Goloka Vrindavan, Vraj, where there is only love, there is nothing else. No, opulence is shy in Goloka Vrindavan. It's hiding itself. Because there is much more valuable things there. The beauty of love, the beauty of affection is there. So, and therefore that depends on the degree of how we appreciate Krishna. And that's what we're supposed to do, to cultivate and to develop this appreciation of Krishna and Krishna's mercy. And only then we will be able to achieve the highest degree of awakening of our love. It's actually, love is natural, and when we see, when little love is awakening, we see how beautiful it is, how happy we are. When we love somebody, we love everyone else. We want to embrace everyone, and Lord Chaitanya is giving this. So why not take what he came to give? We just had this Gaur Purnim. Gaur Purnim means that he came here and he says, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Take it. What depends on us? On us depends only this one thing. How beautiful it is. How beautiful Krishna is. How beautiful his dealings are with his devotees. And how merciful he is. And that's what Uddhava is teaching. As I said yesterday, he's teaching us how to remember the Lord. So we have to remember that he is very beautiful externally, but more than this, he's so beautiful in his heart. He's so kind. He's so beautiful, you know. And how we can appreciate his beauty by reading Srimad Bhagavatam and by associating with the devotees. That's the next point which Prabhupada makes in the purport by commenting on this Parthastra Putah. First they were purified by Partha, by Arjuna, by the weapons of Arjuna. So Krishna himself is merciful, no doubt about it. Krishna himself is powerful, no doubt about it. He's purifying. But to appreciate him, how we will be able to appreciate Krishna? By associating with the devotees. Therefore, Prabhupada, he delineates this process. First they were purified by the arrows of Arjuna. Devotee comes to us, and this is the arrow of a devotee, and gives us the book. Or one lady devotee, she said, you know, she beautifully put it. I liked how she put it. She said, first I was hit in the head by Bhagavad Gita, and then I could appreciate Krishna. So devotee mercifully hits us in the head by Bhagavad Gita. Just take it, do it. It may sometimes sound a little rough, but Arjuna was also rough in the battlefield. So there is this preliminary purification by meeting with the devotee. And what is the point of meeting with the devotee? The point of meeting with the devotee is that by associating with him, we will be able to appreciate Krishna more. If we are on our own, we may read these books. That's okay, that's fine, that's good. But if we hear how others glorifying Krishna, how others appreciating Krishna, how others appreciating Srimad Bhagavatam, then we will get more inspiration. Isn't it?
Yes.
But definitely, if somebody has appreciation and love for Krishna and we hear from him, our appreciation also grows and grows and grows and increases. So that's the point. Lord Chaitanya came to give, but he also himself says, what is the most important in this process? Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Kari. Lava Mata Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi. You know, to really accept or receive what Lord Chaitanya came to give, there is only one way: the society of devotees. Loving devotees together with the devotees. Only in this way we will be able to accept. Otherwise, he is there, he is giving, but you know, we say, we don't need it. We are not interested. You know, like sometimes we give to people a book and we say, we are not interested. Okay, fine. But devotee still, you know, forces, take it, take it, take it. And in the same way, Arjuna is there. Krishna says, you kill them and I will be in front of you. You kill from my behind and I will be in front of you. And while your arrow will hit the heart of them, they will see my beauty and they will say, oh my goodness. Phew. Hare Krishna. So this is how, this is what Srila Prabhupada explains, how the devotee and Krishna work together in this liberating mission. Krishna comes to liberate, Krishna comes to purify, Krishna comes to give love, but he depends, even he depends on the devotee. If you think that you can love Krishna independently of other devotees, you're a madman. I'm just repeating what Prabhupada says. He says some people they think that they can become Krishna conscious independently of the society of devotees. Prabhupada says they are in delirium. They're completely mad. They don't know what they're talking about. Krishna, to give his mercy, he gives his mercy through the devotees. And then, when we are in the association with devotees, our appreciation to Krishna grows and grows and grows. Our meditation to Krishna becomes more and more profound. And ultimately, we will go to Goloka Vrindavan. And the most beautiful part of it is that if we complete this process, if we really know how the process works, and we deepen and increase our appreciation, then we will not even notice how we will die. It's like the story of Narada Muni. Narada Muni, he said, I didn't notice how I died. Isn't it a good death when you don't notice it? It was like a flash of lightning. This is how it is described in Srimad Bhagavatam. Narada Muni, he said, for me it was not painful, measurable experience when I'm attached. No, for me it was a beautiful experience. Like flash of lightning, here I am. Krishna is there. I am in my spiritual form. So that's why it is so important to complete this process. Don't postpone it to the next life. That's okay, there is no loss and diminution, but try to do it now. And all the ingredients for the success is there. Holy name is there, deity is there, society of devotees is there. What else do we need? Sadhu Sangha is there, Srimad Bhagavatam is there, Bhagavad Shravanam is there, Nam Kirtanam is there, Madhura Vas is there. We are living in Madhura Desh, right? And Sri Murtira Shradaya Seva is also there. There's 5 most important components of success are there. Just take maximum advantage of it. It's a rare chance. When in the morning we chant Hare Krishna, it's a rare, beautiful chance. Appreciate it. Appreciate Krishna in the form of holy name. When we associate with devotees, appreciate Krishna in the form of devotees. It's not Krishna came to me in this form, in form of Swayam Sita Prabhu, in form of Ananta Shakti Prabhu, or whatever. It's Krishna. And Bhagavatam, appreciate Bhagavatam. How beautiful Bhagavatam is. How beautiful it is. It's philosophical and so beautiful. So, and appreciate Madhura Desh, the holy land you're living in. Madhura Vas. And appreciate the Murti. And try to deepen your appreciation, increase your appreciation. Appreciation of devotees, appreciation of the holy name, appreciation of Srimad Bhagavatam. And then everything will be fine. And you will not even notice. You will be waiting when this lightning will hit me. You will just, Krishna, Hare Krishna. And Krishna said, where have you been for so long? I've been waiting for you. I was preaching in Madhura Desh. Right, no problem. Come here. So, that's the point of this verse, these beautiful points of this verse. The degree of awakening, how merciful is Krishna. Krishna is merciful, but still, I am reciprocating with your love. Try to increase your appreciation. How to increase appreciation? By associating with the devotees. Partastra, purified by the astra, by the weapons of the devotees, by the sharp words of the devotees. Then, when you're preliminarily purified, your appreciation to Krishna himself will also grow. And then you will be there in the highest abode of the universe, where there is no problems. Highest Vaikuntha, but there is only love. But there is some problems there too. But it's a blissful problem. Okay, thank you very much. Any questions, or shall we finish? It's already late. Okay. It's almost 10. Let's finish it. We still have a couple more days. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.